Okay, I'm sharing the screen. Uh, we stopped last time. Oliver wasn't here, so um, Oliver, did you have a chance to listen?
I listened today during my lunch. And I think it was in the middle of four, right? Or maybe not quite in the middle, but
Right, right. We actually start. Let's start the four again because uh, we um, uh, we interrupted ourselves because we were out of time at figuring out this dative case. What does this mean, tia anarchiki triadi? So, would you, Oliver, then, if you will, read it and uh, try to make sense of it? Well, it's pretty long. Maybe you can uh, stop whenever you like. So,
okay.
yeah.
Um uh Hoion epites henoseos theas hetoi or no, sorry, etoi tes super usiotetos henomenon men esti te anarchike triadi kai koinon he huper usios huparxis he hupertheos theotes he huper agathotes.
Maybe let's
Stop
stop
there.
here because then it's pretty clear. He enumerates lists its coordinate members which follow,
Right.
but let's make sense of the beginning.
So I'm not sure exactly how to take the Hoyon at the beginning. I'm sure you covered this
Well,
last.
well, that should be taken in context of, well, maybe Father Cole, uh, what would you make of this, Ion or Ion?
Um, well, I think it goes with menon ke koinon, so such as is unified and common.
Yeah,
And
basically yes. It's for instance, or something like that. Like, yeah, in the colloquial English, they say like, I don't know how about Canada, but
so such as concerns the union of uh, divine things.
well, theas or theas, what part of speech it is?
Isn't it an adjective?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any doubts about that? I mean, that's well, and given it's an adjective,
Oh, excuse me. So yeah. So it probably modifies tes Cooper usiotetos.
well,
No?
what makes it? Um, uh, I think. Well, then first we need to make sense. Then to decide about this, we should make sense of etoi or et or etoi. This uh, little word.
I
But,
think,
but before we even come to this,
yeah,
uh, we have an adjective which
right,
agrees in gender and case with a previous noun, enosios, sorry.
right, yeah,
And it's preceded by the article,
right,
which makes it uh, which makes it attributive, right?
right.
So and so
So
oion.
the divine union,
Well, then you have a P with genitive case, right? Epitis enosius tis theas.
but
And uh, well,
concern,
yes. Well, let's put it in. into context, because what was his Oion is introduced. I mean, it is introducing an illustration of something which was said before. That's what I meant, like, of, for instance, or in particular, something like that, right? So, what does do you remember? Because we shouldn't lose the forest behind the trees, right? Because otherwise we are just in the dark. So, what was he talking before? How does this Oion connect to what was said before? Maybe Father Cole would help. Oh, the sharing disappeared for some reason. Okay.
Sorry, I was just having a problem with the sound there.
I hear you pretty well.
Yeah, I wasn't hearing you.
Oh,
No, but it was on my end. It was just the speaker had to be plugged in properly. So he was talking about the specific unions and differences, and I think now he's going to give a list of things which are are united to and common to the Trinity.
yes. So before that, he was talking that after saying, even before, that there are unions and distinctions as regards Godhead or divinity. And then he said, even within, roughly speaking, I given a rough summary. Even within the unions, there are some particular, roughly speaking, distinctions. And within the distinctions, diacrisis, there are some unions and distinctions again. So it becomes, the picture is the overall picture he warns us will be more complicated than it seemed previously, right? So now he illustrates he signals with this Oion epitisenosis tistheas that now he will illustrate how within divine union there's some particular distinctions, because what he lists, on the surface at least, are different things, or at least different names, right? But all of them refer to this divine union. Now, Oliver, what would you make of this etoi tis hyperosiotitos? How would you connect it to what is said?
Isn't this a sort of a positive relationship between the two things, like, or indeed?
Yes, absolutely. I agree. Father Cole, what's your opinion about this?
No objections there.
All right, consensus patrum. Have you? Okay, so all right. So, or if you wish, toi is or if you wish, tis hyperosiotitos, right? So so continue translating, Oliver, please.
So I suppose it would be of the divine or supersubstantial union.
Well, no, hyperosiotitos is a noun.
Oh, it's a noun, excuse me, yeah.
So it's in opposition to which noun? So a noun,
to henosis.
Right, exactly. Yeah. And enosis is qualified by this attribute, thea, right?
Right.
So we have so how would you construe this first part?
So I'm sorry, the divine union, or indeed of the supersubstantiality.
Yeah, supersubstantiality. It's an abstract, very abstract noun. But now take it. So, for instance, in reference to or regarding a P, divine union, or which is the same supersubstantiality. Okay, we we, we figured this out. So, what now? What? Uh, Man asked it, so there's man this. Okay, so and what how do you construe what follows?
That these are in or for the Hierarchicae Triadi.
Well, okay, well, right, it's a good guess, but let's think of other options of construing this dative. Father Cole, let's make it
Well, yeah, I think it's like in English, you say common to both one and the other. So you could say it's united, henomenon, and kinon, common, to the henarchic trinity, to the authoritative.
yes, but more I would say more plainly, it is so-called, I think, dative of possession, which is a bit of a misnomer, but you can find it in Smythe under this name. So basically, what happens in this construction is that in translating, what the dative you translate by the nominative case. Well, in English there are no cases, but how to tell it becomes the subject, and then what is in the nominative case becomes why it's called dative of possession. It's this which in the dative has what is in the nominative case. Do you see what I mean?
Yes.
So probably in Latin it could be illustrated, which has cases, but I don't think it has dative of possession. But well, in German. But anyway, I don't know how to illustrate it in English, but literally it says for the anarchiki trias, uh, there is ta 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 ta, which means that anarchiki trias has what follows, and then inomenon ke kinon is predicative. So as in, so then anarchiki trias has as inomenon ke kinon ta 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 ta, all what which follows. You
I
see that word?
see. Yeah, yeah. That didn't occur to me, but yeah, that makes much more sense. Or
Yeah,
it's anyway, it's nicer. Yeah.
right. It's basically the same what you were saying, but in your as I heard you, it was sounded almost as of dative as respect, which it kind of a little bit blurs the exact meaning,
Hmm.
right? So Oliver, is it? Do you follow?
I think so. So the Hierarchic Trinity
Yeah.
has united and in common the supersubstantial reality. Is that
Or existence, yes.
existence?
Well, I parenthetically, I would say that here Aquinas notoriously commits a blunder by translating it as essentia, which is which puts it completely all his translation. He's consistent in this on a different track. Okay. And by the way, we didn't translate anarchiki. Trias is Trinity, right?
Right.
But what anarchiki? Uh, do you have?
Well,
Have
I
you
liked
looked?
anarchic because it doesn't require me to translate. Uh,
Well,
well, and we've been taking anarchic. Well, have we been taking?
It's only appeared
God,
once or twice, I think.
right, right. But the meaning is certain. It's uh, being a principle of unity, or
okay.
but it's hard to render in to make up an adjective in English, right? Something like union originating Trinity, or something. Unity originating Trinity, which of course sounds ambiguous, but if you write it in a proper way with a dash or something, right? So so in other, but it's it's as a concept, it's worth noting that for this author, Trinity is the beginning of unity, right? So just think, it's a paradoxical, right? So if we uh, in ordinarily we at least in common parlance would speak of Trinity as a three something, like three objects, then each of them is one. So one should have first unity of each of the three, and then you'll have Trinity. But what he claims implicitly, but in, consistently and insistently, that this, in the case of the Godhead, it's the other way around. Uh, so Trinity, it's a Trinity, which implies that this is not Trinity is not a sum of three objects, of three things, persons, whatever. It's something else. It's such Trinity which precedes unity and is the origin of unity. And that's, I would say, quite again Neoplatonic. Well, I wouldn't just Platonic concept that anything, any one thing which exists, it exists as simultaneously a moni, which abiding, emanation, prodos, going out of itself, and epistrophe, returning to itself. So it's tri triadic dynamics is involved for something to be one. So oneness is not given of like it is, found ready. It's okay. So so this triadic unity originating Trinity, it has as united and common. I think this care, at least I suggest, it's explanatory. So united, that is common. So united in the sense of being common to all three, whatever they are, which which make it Trinity, right? Okay. So and then the first of them is this supersubstantial existence. Then
The super divine divinity.
Super divine. Well, notice it doesn't say uper theos.
Above God is what it says.
Yeah, that the divinity which is more than God.
Which is
Again,
more than
right. So you see, again, I hope you see this kind of shocking. It should sound a little bit shocking, right? If you are, otherwise we lose the yeah. So there is something more than God, really. Okay. Uh, test at your parishioners for the call. How would they, what would they think of this? The Pope? Who's that? The Pope? Okay. So where did you stop? I'm sorry, I forgot, Oliver. Your
that's Hupertheos Theotes is where I stopped.
Okay.
The goodness above beyond good.
Yeah, and here I meant where you stopped your part. So maybe thank you. If there are no questions, then Father Cole, would you start from here?
I panton epekina tis epekina panton, olis idiotitos taftotis, I hyperenarchian enotis to attencton, to polyphonon, I agnosia, I panoiton, I panton thesis, I panton aferesis, to hyperpassan ke thesin ke aferesin, I en aliles I uto cryphene ton enarchicon hypostaseon moni ke idrisis olikos hyperinomeni ke udeni meri synkekimeni.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
So I had some trouble with this this first part, I panton epikina tis epikina panton olis. So that the beyond of all things, of the whole proper sameness.
To make it simple, first, Ipanton epekina is attributive to what? To what?
Olis idiotitis taftotis.
Okay. Right. Wait a second. Well, Oliver, what do you think? To what is Panton epekina attributive, strictly speaking? What does it qualify?
I think Tautotes.
Yes.
Tautotes?
Yes. So you see, Father Cole, hey, the E or the article is nominative. Of course, it should be
Right.
Feminine. So it matches only Taftotis here. So
right.
although what is after Epekina, first Epekina, and before Taftotis, put it mentally in parentheses or in brackets in the sense that it's kind of now this construction in genitive case, it's a genitive construction qualifying Taftotis. It's genitive of characteristic. So the Taftotis, how you translate it, so Taftotis of ta.
Right. So taftotis, it would be sameness, I suppose, or
yes,
identity.
Identity or sameness, yes.
Okay. So the sameness of the whole peculiarity beyond all things.
Yeah, which is the sameness beyond all things. Well, English becomes ambiguous here. of the peculiarity of the whole peculiarity, well, that's an interesting how to, holis idiotitis, whole or entire peculiarity above, which is above all. In other words, there is the sameness which is above all things, and it is the sameness of peculiarity or of the total peculiarity, which is well, it can be taken actually even two ways. One can take teeth. No, all is, of course, it can be only adjective. Right. So all is qualifies definitely. Just let me. Just let me double check something. Well, you may think, meanwhile, how to translate it better. Yeah, I think I'm just thinking, what are the other meanings? Whole, entire, complete. Maybe complete would be better. Complete and idiotis. Idiotis property, distinctive property, specific character. Yes. Well, right. So the sameness above all thing of the complete particularity which is above all thing. Yes. So it's I'm not quite sure what to make of it. I mean, in terms of meaning, right? So what is this complete or entire peculiarity, right? So do you have handy Lila's translation of it?
No.
No? All right, we can leave it.
I think Leela says the absolutely transcendent immutability of the whole absolutely transcendent specific character, and then brackets of the Godhead.
Oh, okay. Yes. Yeah, that specific character I like. Immutability. I'm not sure that's accurate, quite accurate. The entire in the French translation by Isabelle Diandia, it's entire property. Yeah, entire property, she translates it. Maybe entire property actually is a good one.
There's an older one in English by I don't remember the name of the translator. It's one of the first translations in English, I think.
Mm-hmm.
His name isn't on the cover of this edition, but anyway, he gives the identity surpassing all things of its transcendently individual nature.
Oh, yes, that
the identity surpassing all things of its surpassing all things or transcendently individual nature.
Right, I like it. There's one by Jones, also individualness, which is beyond all. Oh no, so whole individualness, sameness beyond all of the whole individualness. Interesting word, which is beyond all, and it's close to what you, your translator says. Yes, I think right. So this idiotis, right? It can be translated actually as individualness. So it's not atom. So not to real. In this context, the word atomos would be inappropriate, right? Like, which is literally mean individual, atom. Yes, but here individualness is uniqueness or singularity or something like, yeah. So the whole singularity of the Godhead. Yes, that's correct on the part of Lila. So it is it has identity which is beyond all known or all existent creaturely identities or sameness of which is beyond all, and it has also this uniqueness which is beyond any uniqueness in beyond any other uniqueness. Okay, let's proceed.
So ineffable, many voiced. Agnosia is not ignorance, but rather
well,
unknown.
did you translate hyper anarchian?
Oh no, sorry. The oneness beyond the source of unity.
Right. That's interesting because before that he said that this Trinity is the source of unity, but now he's saying there is oneness. This Trinity, which is the source of unity, it has, remember, it's dative of possession, among other things, in whatever sense we take this plurality. Remember that's plurality, quasi-plurality within unity. So Trinity, which is the source of all unity, among other things, has unity which is more than the origin of unity, right? Anarchia. Anarchia, principle of unity, right? So, which is more than principle of unity. Lampe gives. It is not as LSJ, it's only lampe and trap, this word. Anarchia as a noun. Okay. Now let's proceed to this Ipandun.
Yeah, so agnosia, the unknowing, or because you couldn't really say ignorance, but
how did you say polyphone?
many voiced, I said.
Many voiced. You see here, Affington, it should pair, so to say, by meaning. So Affington, unutterable, right? Or how did you?
I said ineffable. So
ineffable. Well, more strictly, it's
unspeakable, somehow unable to be said.
yeah, unutterable. And the polyphonon, yes, it's many voiced or because having many meanings. Well, many voiced, it's a little bit strange, sounds to me at least. So, in what? So it's like a choir or something. It would be too angelic picture. in so polyphonon. Yes, it has a meaning, have many way, manifold in expression. I think that's better.
Yes.
Manifold in expression. Okay. Let's proceed. Agnosia.
So unknowing, and panoiton is not in LSJ, but I suppose it's the opposite. So knowing everything, knowing all
Well,
things.
except it is has a passive. Well, it's a noun, of course. And well, but oh, sorry, it's an adjective, but it's substantivized with as a in neuter with the article, so it has the meaning of abstract noun. So, but it panoiton means completely understandable, because that has this suffix eta and tau. It has a gives a passive meaning to the adjective. Uh, it If it were an adjective, it would be something that can be completely known. But
Right.
as if we, with as substantivized, it becomes abstract noun, complete nobleness, complete understandability. So agnosia is unknowing. I assume you meant it is as a well as a noun, right? Unknowing as a like swimming, running. It's a noun, right, in English. So
Yeah, not that the Godhead does not know things, but that it is the unknowing. Yeah, exactly.
so
Those who try to
it's
approach.
something,
Yeah.
right? So actually, there's excellent scholium on this. I recommend to read either of course best in Greek. It's on page in you can easily find it in Zuchla, and also part of it she put in the apparatus because she doesn't believe. Oh no, I think no. Yes, part of it in the apparatus, uh, but basically, it's. I think it's all of it is worth reading. It's very deep thinking. Yes, here's part in the apparatus. So if we had more time, I would even suggest that we read it. If you wish, we can read it next time because it's a masterpiece, short masterpiece. I mean, theological masterpiece. But anyway, so
What page is it on?
well, in PDF file, it's page. Oh, wait a second. Um, mm, uh, in Agnosia. Uh, mm, yes, it's 171 in PDF file
Okay.
in Zuchla's Scholia, so edition of the Scholia. And but please don't neglect, if you'll be reading it, what is in the apparatus, because it's very valuable. And actually, Rorem, he translated it. He did his translation before Zuchla's edition of the Scholia came out. So he translated, I think, the text as it stands in Patrologia Graeca, which I think is better in a sense. Yeah, so that's a great piece. But let's continue our reading. Translating, actually, analyst.
I was actually at Ipantonthesis.
Oh, you didn't come at to. Oh, right. Epantanthesis. Sorry.
So the positing of all things, the negation of all things,
Mhm.
um, the positing and negation that is beyond all.
Well,
Or that, sorry, That which is beyond all positing and negation.
Right, right. And yes, and I would even take it as explanatory to although here it's a neuter article, so I would take it not on the par of with positing and negating, but that positing and negating which is beyond all positing and negating. Okay.
Okay. Maybe I'll pass it on to Oliver at this point.
Okay. Just to mention it, so that's important, and he repeats it. This author, or she, he, she. This author repeats that in other places that it's not just sometimes people think apophatic theology, which would mean that he's all into negating things. He says it's a negation which beyond any negation. So, and it is positing, which is beyond all positing. That's his more, in other words, more subtle, or however you call it, but he avoids this. He avoids being categorized as his as uh, uh, as apophatic theologian. Yeah. All right. So Oliver, would you take from here?
The Monet, I guess, means abiding, something like that.
Yes, yes, abiding.
In one another.
Yeah, in one another. Yes.
If it is right, so to speak.
If in Uterschriften, if one needs to say this, I think not to. It's not so to speak. What I don't know. I take it. Okay, what is your because Uterschriften, so literally it means if one needs, or if it is needed to say this. So how do you take, in what sense do you take it?
Well, but the huto I thought meant something like so, or in this way.
Yeah, if well, so right, but it can like in English, I say so means I say this, right?
Right. So if it is necessary to say this.
Right. So why is this why he puts with if, what why he might think that perhaps it is even not necessary to say this?
I'm not sure who the one another are. That might shed some.
Oh, okay. Okay, let's then suspend this and then figure out what do you make of this ton enarchikon hypostasion? Why is it genitive?
So the abiding of the I don't know how we take hypostasis essences.
No. Hypostasis is a technical term, what in Western theology is more often called the persons of the Trinity.
Okay.
In Byzantine theology, it's also used prosopon, but more rarely, and the technical term is hypostasis. So it's less anthropomorphic if you
rather than person, yeah.
Right. But it's a technical term, however we translate it, but I think you could translate it apostasis. It would be fine because this is used in English rendition of Byzantine theological text.
So I would guess that the e huto cre phanai is, if it's necessary to say this because it's talking about the hypostases or persons of the Trinity as if they were separate things, which they are not.
Right. So like English, needless to say, right? Or if one needs to say this, they're abiding in each other of so now it is clear. Is it clear, Oliver, now?
I think so.
Who is abiding in each other, right?
Right.
And now he calls this anarchikon, so he applies this adjective, which we translated as unity originating, to before. Remember, he applies it to Trinity. Now he applies it to
the hypostasis.
yes, which are three, but so these two statements should be taken together, right? So there are three, but there are three not as there are three as again the origins of unity, not as something united as the object, right? An object has presupposes unity. This hypostasis is the origin of unity. Okay, so Monique Idrisis.
And foundation.
Yes, abiding and foundation.
Altogether. It looks like I didn't write down in my notes Hupere nomine. Is that Huper Iro maybe, or Huper Ireo?
No, it's heno, like to make one.
Yeah. Thank you. So the completely unified foundation.
Abiding and foundation, right? So, but then we have this iperonomeni and then udeni meri syntechimeni. So there are participles, passive participles, right? So I think you take it this way, but they function as adjectives, right? So how we need to decide how we construe them in this sentence.
So I guess completely unified and in no part confused or mixed up.
Right, exactly. In no part confused. And what is the what are these adjectives predicated of?
Monet and Monet and Idrusis. No.
Well, possibly, but I'm not sure how would it how can Monique can possibly be Sintehimeni. What sense does it make?
Would you take it only with Idrusis?
Yeah, that's possible. Well, right. So one may probably because it's in each other. So that would make, because there are three of them. So there are three pairs, so to speak, of them. And so, yeah, probably that's what is meant, right? And further on, he explains it with this example. So maybe let's proceed to the example. But for now, I think you see this, but for now, let's just note that these two qualifications, olikos hyperonomeni, ke udeni meri synchichomeni, they are opposite. So there are two ways in which one may err or commit an error in thinking about them. Thinking of them, they're not, one may, on the one hand, it's an error to think they're not completely or wholly, totally united in a more than united way, hyper, yeah, but basically their union is more than total. And on the other hand, an error would be to think that in that union implies, how do you translate synchichomeni?
Confused or mixed up.
Right. Yes. Like like when two liquids, here is to flow, right? Okay, so, and then let's read the next one. He explains. We started a bit later, so Father Cole, would you read the next one?
Kata per phota lamptiron ina estitis ke ikis chrysome paradigmasin onda en ico eni ke ola en alilis olis esti ke acrivi tin apalilon idikos ifis damenin echi diacrisin inomena ti diacrisi ke ti enosi diakecrimena.
I think did you read Akrafni? Maybe, but anyway, I think you read Akrivi.
Yes.
Which she bracketed.
Sorry. I'm reading from the wrong one.
Oh, okay. Well,
yes, the one that we use is a little different.
Okay.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay. Well, just as the lights of lamps, so that I might explain by means of sensible and familiar examples.
So that in order that I use, it's an English, it's a clause of purpose, because chrysome, I'm not sure I don't remember what Zuchler has. Chrysome is subjunctive, right?
Yeah.
So in a chrysome, it's literally in order that I use.
I see.
Sense perceptible and familiar examples.
Okay.
But in English, we say just, that's idiomatic to say, to use familiar and sensible examples.
Right, yeah. I was looking at the first meaning of chrysome, which is proclaim, I think.
Oh.
So I got confused, but it's also used. That's right. Okay.
With dative, it should, I think, mean use. With dative.
Okay. Okay. So these lights of these lamps being in one house and whole, and being whole in, and being wholly in one another, and a precise, and they have a precise distinction from one another, if he's properly or particularly abiding in one another.
Well, how did you take idikos iphistamenin?
Yeah, properly subsisting in or being in one another.
Yes, subsist. But well, iphistamenin.
Subsisting is very literal, so it's anyway.
Yes, but if subsisting, it's fine. But what does it qualify? It's a part.
The distinction, right?
Right, distinction. Yes, they have the distinction.
Right, they have the precise distinction, properly subsisting. So apo with genitive is out of one another.
Well, Oliver, what do you think? From. Yeah, distinction from one another.
Right.
Distinct from one another. And this distinction is idikos. I'm not sure how exactly to translate, like particularly in a I think it's meant here idikos. Let's look. I mean, it's idikos. Separately apart, which not would be tautological, right? Properly, maybe properly would be a good translation. But since we are talking about distinction, it's tempting to somehow use this that the distinction between each of the pairs, like between the Father and the Son and the Spirit, is established separately. That's what I think it's meant. Established, although we have distinction in the singular, the noun, the akrisin, but of course he means each of the distinctions between each of the two among the three is established separately somehow, right? And then, and how did you translate the rest?
Hirumena the Ecclesi. So they are united by means of distinction, and by means of uniting, they are distinguished.
Right. Well, that's a very deep analogy, and I just invite you for before the next class, which actually would be the last one in this term, to think more, like to read a little further. Don't do sight reading. Don't leave it for sight reading for next. Just out of curiosity, and read more a little bit about. He develops this analogy, and as a guiding question, thinking about it. So he speaks of the lamps and of the lights, pota, of the lamps in the plural, right? And so there's plurality, which obviously analogous. He proposed it as an analogy of some plurality which is in the Trinity, and there is a unity. So what these lamps, so what are they analogous to within the Trinity, if anything? Because I will tell you in advance there are two ways to take this analogy. And you may think, first try to maybe make your guess. And it would be useful also to read a scholium, which is on page. Actually, this scholium is, Zuchla put it completely in the apparatus, in her apparatus, but it's, I would say it's rather important. It's here. Well, it's which page? It's on page 175 in the apparatus. It's a scholium to the next sentence. Yes. So, you will read also Aquinas's commentary, who discusses both possible interpretations of this analogy. But it is not so kind of, I would say, it is not, it sounds simplistic, but it is not. Yes. Anyway, any questions so far about what we read? No. Okay, so I'm stopping the recording.